going, Joe? So what's happening?
All right, I mean, I'm a little tight. You know, I went to the mall yesterday. Don't go to malls on a Saturday. Let me tell you, it's so crowded. You know, there's snagging kids all over the place. My girl's busted my chops. She made me spend $1 million there.
All right. So you had that event the other night. How was that?
You mean the one in Morristown?
Yeah.
It was.
Heard it was nice.
It was annoying. Forget about it. People were screaming and yelling. I couldn't get anything done. Forget about it.
Okay. So I'm reading this good book, The Power of Now.
Do you realize the Yankees have lost the last 7 games in a row? Do you have any idea? You know,
I really haven't been paying attention.
Did you see the news today? The Prince died?
No, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did he die?
I don't know. They don't know the cause yet.
Oh.
Yeah, and that wrestler too. Yeah, they say celebrities. It's always.
I haven't really been watching.
Always,
I don't really watch the
they
news
say,
too much.
They say with celebrities, they usually die in groups. Did you know that?
Wow, that's pretty doom and gloom.
I know. Do I know? It's
Anyway, tell me, anything good happening lately?
I don't know. I'm thinking of, I've been going to my church. I'm thinking of changing the church. I don't know. I'm bored of it. I'm sick of it. Always talking about God.
Well, maybe if you just focused on your spirit being more spiritual and just having a positive attitude and just being grateful for the day. You know what I mean? Look at this day. It's such a beautiful day.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Breathe it in.
Bro. It's all the same.
So
it's all the same
grateful.
crap. Bills. Come on, you know. This is bills.
Yeah.
Responsibilities. My boss is breathing down my neck. And when he comes into my office,
right.
He can't just say, Joe, you had a good productive day. You're working hard. No,
Right.
he can't just say that. He's got to sit there. He's got to criticize me. He's got to belittle me. He's so condescending too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'm sitting there. I'm like, I did a good job. I worked hard. Why
Yeah.
can't you just?
It's probably like an angry guy, right?
Yeah. Why can't you just acknowledge me?
Freaking jerk.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like when you're at work, you just want a little acknowledgement. You want to be heard.
Yeah, I got someone at work like that.
Exactly.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And what? And you sit there. You work hard, right? Does he ever compliment you?
No.
Yeah, do
He only cares about himself.
you feel appreciated? Do you feel appreciated?
He probably looks at me like I'm a jerk.
Exactly. I mean, same thing with the house. I mean, are you appreciated at home? Do you feel like you're appreciated with your family? Like
No.
you do, and do I pick up my brother? I take him to the store. My mother, she asks me to do things. No one ever thanks me.
How about this? I work my butt off and I don't get any appreciation.
Exactly. You know what? People just don't appreciate
Nothing.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real every day.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real. That's what we do.
We're back. Fitness Real Talk. I'm your co-host Greg Crawford with my other co-host
Joe Papalardo.
All right. So today is an important topic. It's something that I think everyone deals with in their life, probably on a daily basis. Something that you really want to avoid as much as possible. Sometimes it's hard to avoid. And the topic today is negativity. Okay. Yeah. Joe and I were just having a conversation actually the other night how for most people it's a daily occurrence to absorb negativity, and it's kind of eye-opening to realize that for one, you're absorbing negativity every day possibly, and number two, when you are absorbing negativity, you're going to go through a period of frustration and no progress, and you're not going to get anything accomplished in a negative state. So, Joe, what do we have to do to get ourselves away from negativity?
We have to escape it. We have to get ourselves away from it. And it's funny we're talking about this now because in the last week, I consider myself a very positive person, but yet in the last week, I feel like I've made even more strides on eliminating negativity. I personally was occurring in the negativity. I didn't even realize it. Mm-hmm. So we live around negativity. The news is negative. We have people always complaining around us. Most of the time, you have people they're in a bad mood or whatever.
Haters.
Yeah. I mean, just there's a lot more negativity in daily life than positivity. Now, when this stuff comes at you like that, whether it's your job, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your family, all these different issues come at you. Sometimes you don't necessarily even have to be like Debbie Downer, but you'll find yourself talking about it. You'll be venting all day to someone about your boss, or you'll be venting about you're arguing with your brother, or you're arguing with your friend, and all these things start to fuel the fire. If you really, really pay attention, you'll find that most of us engage in negative talk almost all day long. It could be about the most minuscule thing. It could be about even people talking about other people, and they're cracking jokes, whatever it is. It's all pretty much negative. So we have to be aware of that. We have to raise our awareness to this and focus every day on engaging in positive talking, positive thoughts, positive actions. If we raise our awareness to this and make it a point not to engage in negativity, I must have did it ever since I talked to you about that about 20 times.
Yeah.
Even like today in little things, I catch myself.
It's like a knee-jerk reaction.
You could just get sucked into it so quickly.
Right, and even simple things like, watching the news. I know a lot of people like to stay up on current affairs, what's going on in the news, but
it's all negative.
Yeah, and then what ends up happening is you see something on the news, and then maybe you meet a friend for coffee or a workout or something, and then next thing you know, you're saying, hey, did you see that on the news? And once you start that conversation, hey, did you see that? Then you start unraveling into a negative conversation, and you start focusing on that situation. And every time you focus on a negative situation, it takes you away from having a positive or productive thought. Okay, so I know it doesn't seem at the time when you're watching the news that it's a big deal, but you'll start to realize that you're gonna start talking about the news more if you're watching it. So try not watching that stuff. So when someone comes to you and says, hey, did you see that story on the news? And you're like, no, I don't watch the news. You won't engage into a stupid conversation that is negative.
And Greg, that's 100% true. And I think the most important thing is that people need to understand that word, that important word, the king of all words, awareness. Because if they have the awareness, if they hold themselves accountable to this, and they're really honest with themselves, and they're not like saying, oh, well, no one knows my story. But if they're really honest with themselves and they're aware, they will catch themselves engaging in negativity almost all day long.
Yeah, because the other thing with that is too, it seems to be contagious. You know what I mean? So there's a good motivational speaker, Jim Rohn. He said, you're the average of, you are the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Okay, so who you're spending the most time with is going to make a difference, because we feed off of each other's energy. So if you're spending a lot of time with someone that's kind of like negative or bringing you down, or even if you're a positive person, eventually you're going to meet that level of energy. So what you want to do
by raising the awareness of who they're with.
Exactly.
Then they'll say, oh, wait a minute, because again, that's more awareness, because they could be around 4 or 5 friends that they know and love, but these people are bringing them down.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I gotta start taking, not like disowning them, but just let me just set boundaries and be around people that are more positive.
Yeah, and you'll feel the difference. I mean, try getting out of your comfort zone and like going somewhere, joining a group or an event where it brings together like-minded, positive people. You go to one of these things, and when you leave there, you just feel good. Like you feel like you have a new energy inside of you. So that's really important. Same thing with the gym you join. If you join a gym where it's like everyone's kind of walking around with a puss on their face, and there's no high level of energy, you're not going to be motivated to work out. So go join a gym where people are smiling, people are energized, and that's going to motivate you and pick you up.
And topics you want to avoid, especially when you're in the gym. At MTG, we don't talk religion when we're training, and we don't talk politics. Everyone's got their own opinions. Everyone's got feels how they feel. But you have your opinion, someone else has their opinion. There's no point in debating it, and there's no point in arguing about it. Things like that you want to avoid.
It's stupid. It's stupid. Speaking of politics.
He's right. No, he's right.
Yeah, so the last thing I would leave off with is, have you ever like, even when you try to avoid like having a negative mindset, you still, for some reason, you wake up in the morning and you just have like crazy thoughts in your head and you're just negative and there's nothing you can do about it. So I came up with a couple of different exercises that I do for myself whenever I feel like I get a negative thought in my mind. So one thing I do is, the first thing I do in the morning is I change my physiology. So most people get up in the morning, you know, they go get their cup of coffee or they go right into the bathroom and, you know, if they're in a bad mood, they're not going to change it. So what you want to do is you want to actually change your physiology. So when I wake up in the morning and I go into my kitchen, I'll stand up and I'll open my arms real wide and I'll put my head back and I'll just, and I'll take nice deep breaths. And I'll just try to raise my energy.
Good level of
first
breathing.
thing in the morning.
Breathing is life.
And it helps with your mindset to get going. The second thing I do, or I've been trying to do, is whenever I've had a negative thought, boom, I hit the deck and I do 15 push-ups. Just to break that thought pattern. And it works.
Well, again, I mean, breaking those disturbing patterns, I mean, that's what it's all about.
And if you're very negative, just think how many push-ups you'll be able to do.
I mean, actually, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, just hit the deck.
Yeah, I like that.
I do it to my fiance too. If she's like, which is rare that she's in a bad mood, but if she's like getting down on herself, let's go, hit the deck.
One thing that I've been trying to do is I notice usually whenever there's a negative topic or a negative subject, usually if you look on the other side, there's usually another side, there's always more positive if you really want to look for it. The problem is that people usually harp on the negative. That's why, you know, they'll watch the news, they'll watch everyone's talking about the negative. The news isn't talking about all the nice things that are going on every day. There's good deeds happening, there's a lot of happiness too, but that's just harping on the negative. So the news is just following suit with human nature, harping on the negative and forget about the positive. Yeah. My trick that I do is, if I am fixated or I'm stuck on something that's really bothering me, I'll just think about all the positive things I have and all the blessings I have, and most of the time they outweigh the negatives by far. Just like in the world, you have poverty, you have people who are killing each other, you have a lot of negative stuff on the news, but believe it or not, there's a hell of a lot more positive out there than there is negative. There's more people living than there are dying. So if we implement that with ourselves and think about the positive and just take that little negative, put it to the side, think about all the positivity and the blessings we have, I think if we really embrace that, we'll feel blessed no matter how negative we feel.
There's always like an action you could take to change it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if it's a little action, even if it means like, you know, you're in a bad mood or you're feeling down, go for a walk. Go change your environment. Do something like right away.
I love the breathing. I like that. I like the breathing.
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah. Thanks. I mean, we could talk about this all day.
Forget about it.
I mean, that just goes to show you, like, you know, it's like people could talk about negativity all day.
Yeah.
So we're not. We're going to cut it short here. And,
be positive.
Be positive. You know, reach out to us if you have any concerns or anything you want to chat. And that's it. So we'll see you next week in another episode of Fitness Real Talk.
Good one.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real every day.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real, that's what we do.